If you want news and rumors that appeal, welcome to the Dusty Wheel.
Hey, welcome back to the Dusty Wheel.
If you want news and rumors that appeal, welcome to the Dusty Wheel.
Hey, welcome back to the Dusty Wheel.
Welcome back to the Dusty Wheel. I'm your host, the Innkeeper, and this is our live call and talk show all about the Wheel of Time. And we're back again at lunch to discuss the latest drop from the Tweeter of Chaos, all about Logain. We're ready. We're ready for this, right? Thank you all for being back here. Just a quick shout out to Noel and Koala, both admins here, and both had birthdays. Happy birthday to you both. And with that being said, let's just dive into this discussion all about the Logain teaser that just dropped from Wheel of Time on Amazon Prime with my two wonderful guests for this lunchtime live stream. Lauren from Unraveling the Pattern and James from Wheel Up Time. Welcome, both of you. Thank you. What's really nice is my last four guests have instantly gone to jazz hands, and I've loved that. So, yeah, appreciate that.
I went gang signs, but sure.
Oh, gun signs, sorry. Jazz hands, gun signs, whatever it is.
I was thinking about doing that Perrin dance that Marcus did in the past, but I don't have the groove for that.
Can you? No, let's take a moment. Lauren, there it is. Make that a meme out there right now. That's Lauren's version of the Marcus Rutherford dance. Oh, okay, everybody, you're here. Instead of talking about dancing, you're here because the Wheel of Time on Amazon Prime just dropped another teaser. Let's get to it. Let's watch this one. Let's like we did last time a couple of times. So let me set this up for everybody. Here we go. And yeah, enjoy this. Oops.
There have been false dragons before. His strength is more than anything I've ever seen.
Yeah, we're watching this again. Here we go.
There have been false dragons before. His strength is more than anything I've ever seen.
And come on, one more time. Let's begin.
There have been false dragons before. His strength is more than anything I've ever seen.
Okay, there it is. That was fun. That was fun. Okay, so where do we get? Where do we begin on this? Let me go to you, Lauren, first. What's the first thing that stuck out to you on this clip?
Can we just loop that for the next hour and call it good?
Yeah, exactly right.
Amazing. Well, okay, a lot of things stuck out, but I think one of the things I noticed first was the Saidin appears to be black. You can see like very little white streaks, and then it immediately gets covered by black. And I think we've sort of now confirmed that when females are channeling, at least from certain points of view, we'll be seeing white, and when males are channeling, we'll be seeing some form of black, which is really cool.
Well, you pointed this out to me. I think is really cool is that there is a white side of it, and then the black kind of envelops it, as you can kind of see there. If you look at this, everyone, right there on the arm, and then the black comes down to this. So let me show a clip really quick that Lauren put together for us. And hold on, everybody. You know, I'm moving some frames here. Taylor, do you have that clip that? Oh, that's on here. So that's right. I'm going to show you this, everybody. This is what Lauren kind of threw together. You can kind of see this process he's talking about. That what looks like probably the taint, right? Instead of this just being Saidin, I think this is more the taint, right? Like that is an awesome view, Lauren. Look at that. That is a freaking, like you can see the white inside of the black there.
Right.
And the black's like coating the top of it, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like
an
that
oily surface.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like the rancid oil. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I love it. So this, I mean, we have to, I mean, it has to be the taint. I've seen everybody see this, the taint, and then everybody pointing out the taint, just because that's what, you know, we do as fans. Yeah, I think this is a really, really kind of close-up view of what we were seeing before. And the weaves are, like Hybrid Havoc just said in chat, actually white. So really, really awesome, thing you pointed out to me, Lauren, before this began. Thank you for throwing this together. Do you like that presentation, James? This idea of like still seeing, do you think that, I guess, viewers that don't know the books are going to understand what they're seeing there?
I think it's quite clear generally if you have like white and black in this sort of media, especially like the Flame of Tavalon and the Yin Yang sign and everything, that like one's meant to represent the light and one's the dark. So it makes like perfect sense to a viewer. It doesn't really require that extra exposition.
Yeah.
One thing I just noticed though, which I only noticed when you started playing this clip a second ago, was the title of the clip. I misread it at first and it confused me. And it led me to read into it in a weird way. So the title's like, there's more than Logain than meets the eye, right?
Oh, is that the, yeah, I didn't even notice the title of the clip. Is that, I was like, I'm just like, actually, you know, I didn't stare at that. Is that what is the title that you added, Lauren, to that clip?
No,
that's
the caption they gave.
Yeah, that's the caption. There's more. Yeah. So what do you think that, go ahead.
I'm wondering if that means he is at the eye of the world.
Oh, right here. You think
Tricky.
This is? Oh, you think this is?
Not necessarily in any of these scenes. I'm just wondering if that might be a hint that Logain could go to the eye of the world at some point in his journey.
Ooh, Looney Theories time.
Ooh, I like it. Okay, let's ask it. That's our first poll of the morning or the afternoon, I guess, depends on where you're at, or evening. Do you think that Logain, will do what are you going to say? Be at the eye of the world?
Yeah, I think it's a hot take, and it's only something I just thought.
I like it.
I love this take. Okay. We already know this is going to be different from the books. So
sure.
I love the idea that Logain is seeking the eye. That's what he's going about doing.
Oh,
Not only will it possibly give him access to, and I guess spoilers, right? Matt, should we do some sort of spoiler?
Oh yeah, so that's thank you very much for bringing that up. Let's break that down really quick for everyone that's here. How far are you going to spoil? How far are you planning on going here, Lauren?
I was just going to talk about the end of the Eye of the World.
Okay, so just a quick note. This is going to contain spoilers for the end of the Eye of the World. We're not going to go any further for now than that, but I want to throw the banner up just so you see it. But go ahead right now, Lauren, and give us your end of the Eye of the World, theory here.
Well, look, I'm just thinking this up, but. Based on what we've been talking about, I like the idea that he's seeking the eye of the world. Maybe we could include the eye as part of the prophecies of the dragon, and Logain is actively attempting to fulfill those prophecies. He is the self-proclaimed dragon. It makes sense that he would try to get the eye. Maybe the lore of the show will be that the eye of the world is pure Saidin, and obviously he who taps into it is the dragon reborn. Almost like well, now I want to spoil something further on. In book 3, there's I'll just say very quickly. The Sword in the Stone. At the very end of book 3, he who does a certain thing is the true dragon reborn. Maybe that could be the eye of the world, and maybe Logain is seeking it. Maybe he could be
that idea.
The sort of like villain that faces off with another certain individual at the end of the Eye of the World that I would be.
So, by the way, I have to bring up this imagery while we're talking about Logain trying to fulfill things and what they're trying to show. Come on. this is clearly like
so
Christian iconography, right? Like
yeah.
they almost gave him this look like you see right here, this like very religious kind of
savior,
savior motif, right? This right here, the savior motif
Totally.
coming into this one is so the setup of him, being a savior, but at the same time saying there have been false dragons before. That's what I love this concept here of throwing this in, especially for new viewers, right? New viewers coming in that don't know the books, they'll see this and kind of wonder like, who is this person? Really powerful, maybe has this savior kind of moment. So
well, and it almost feels like there's dust in that first shot, like there's dust clearing. I almost get the impression that he literally just busted through a wall or a city wall.
Oh yeah, that's
palace
a good point
wall.
Yeah.
Like there's obviously him and his followers are clearly attacking, but he's really the force behind it, right? He's literally using the power to bust straight through. I love that.
Fresh Prince of the Ravens in chat. It's American Jesus.
Yeah. Well, and the fact that he's got like fancy clothes on and a nice signet.
Yeah,
ring.
he's got this robe almost thing going on. Yeah, but I love this theory that he's breaking through a wall here. I think that has to be number 2. Let's jump back to our first theory on this. 300 of you voted. Do you think that Logain will be at the eye of the world? James, no one's really not many people are following you down this road.
I like it though, because
you got
like
it's
Lauren
20%.
was saying,
I mean, that's not really loony. I mean, you got 20%, right? I guess maybe most loony theorists can probably get at that rate, but no, I like it. I like the idea. I like it. I
think what Lauren was saying as well, it gives another reason to draw them to the eye, because that was always one of the things in the first book that did kind of feel a bit off to me, is the sudden jump to the blight and the eye of the world at the end. I'm also wondering if they could somehow like combine it with the Great Hunt in some way, because the eye is where the horn is. So maybe the eye is mentioned in the Great Hunt prophecies or whatever it is that governs that.
I have to. I totally I like the idea, but I have to show this comment by Alyssa Powers. I'm 100% printing out this image to share with all my religious friends as a Christmas gift.
It's like that person who gave his mom a picture of Obi-Wan Kenobi and she thought it was Jesus, put it up on her wall.
That's so good. Yeah, that's right. To all the religious fans of the Wheel of Time, if this was going to be a similar image that you were sending out, here's one you can put in its place to remind everyone that Christmas Eve is the last episode of the Wheel of Time first season. Okay, so let's jump back to this. Hilarious. Okay, so anything else? I love the idea here, Lauren, breaking through a wall, that dust moment, kind of walking up here.
Well, there are no soldiers around him. It's just him. But I still like to think he has maybe he doesn't have followers at this point. Maybe it's literally just him, and it's taking over Gildon that will then lead to Dragonsworn or something.
I don't know if it was one of the other soldiers. You can see, here we go. We have a boot. We have a boot sighting over there by him as he's walking. Guy. I'm gonna need to do a close up of that boot. It's really cloudy, so I don't think we're gonna get much. But it's a dead guy. But its question is it one of his or is it one of theirs? So maybe we'll be able to unblur that a bit more and see if it's anyone.
Question I kind of have here is like, what is he doing?
Yes, well, okay, that's a great question. Let's move on to this next shot here. This individual here. Yeah, so we know this actor. It's actually like I can't remember if it was officially announced. I think it was still unofficial. But this actor is actually someone that Watt Series has announced before. So let's jump to that article, because I think both of these individuals, I saw someone mention this and I was like, oh, are both of these individuals actually from this clip? So let me get that out, everybody. You'll have to just bear
while
with
you're
me for a moment.
while you're going through that or finding that article. When I first saw this, I didn't know about this Watt Series thing, and I noticed that guy has a very fancy looking helmet. It has all this really intricate detail, but then the soldiers surrounding him have just kind of like normal burnished looking helmets. They look more like soldiers or some sort of guard.
What's interesting though, if I remember correct, is that the audio description that Amazon added was just described them as 2 soldiers.
Right. And it seems like it's very likely that this guy is royalty with his king's guard. And Logain, I think, is probably broken into the palace. I would assume those other dead bodies laying down are other soldiers on the king's side. And
So yeah,
he's just decimated them.
Let's jump into this. So these two individuals, this face right here, everybody, if you remember, we can throw that back up. You saw that face, and here you go again, right there. That's the face you're seeing. So right there, yeah. So and
Which
then
one is that? Is that the second guy or the first guy?
It's the first guy right there. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
So
I can see
Miguel Alvarez here, and the reason why we believe it's Miguel is that they put here what series reported of these four. We currently only know the role of Miguel Alvarez. According to his CV, he'll be playing the role of Arthur, King of Gildan.
Makes sense, and he's Spanish, just like Alvaro Morte, which is
yeah. And we didn't know who Zeke was playing, but look at this actor. Look at this face right here. Someone mentioned this. I saw it kind of chatting about this idea, and then if we go down back here. Look at the face of this person right next to him.
Yeah, and in the next shot, you see his face even
right
better.
there.
Yeah.
That
throwing
shot,
a spear.
Yeah, he's throwing the spear right there.
And there's another guy behind him who isn't. And there's the shield of Gildan.
Oh, but look at that beard. The beard and the person right behind him. I don't know if that's the other person in that picture. Let's look. So look at the beard there, right? And now let's.
That's totally those two other guys. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's jump to that. Right
those are the King's Guard right there. Those two.
Yeah.
guys.
So it's the King and the King's Guard. Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. I love it. Those could absolutely be those. Yeah, I think that's Brandy Rodriguez,
and
Zeke
I'm pretty
Fernandez,
sure, but
and Miguel Alvarez.
The guy with the glasses is the dead guy with the boot on. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, Matthew's pointing out we can't see your cursor. Yeah, if I'm pointing to stuff, I'll try to be more specific. But the three actors over to the left here, this first one on the far left is Miguel Alvarez. The second one here is Zeke Fernandez. And the third is Brandy Rodriguez. Again, unofficial announcements, I believe, still. But it looks like we now know, which I love that you pointed this out, King's Guards, potentially.
And if you go back like a frame or two, you can see clearly Gildan crest. I looked that up.
Yeah.
Like what
3
is
stars?
Yeah, 3 stars on red.
Right?
Yep. And that's,
that's
it.
The Gildan crest. Yeah, like you were saying, definitely you look at the decoration on his helmet there, much more elaborate than his guards. And it's...
I noticed someone in chat, I think it was actually the last scene of Logain, but someone said there was stitching of dragons on his collar.
Yes, on Logain's collar.
Yeah, we'll go.
I want to say one other thing about the King of Gildan thing.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. There's so much to talk about, so little time. Yeah. He's got blood on him. Now, this could just be from the initial attack, right?
Oh, interesting.
So the question here is, are they setting up Logain to be a villain? Or are they setting him up to be the promised Messiah we all are rooting for? Because if you're going to point out the perspective of a guy who's a king and who's willing to fight in the front against a threat like this, that shows that he's like this brave guy, right? He's got blood on his face. He was fighting. He was in the fight to some degree. Maybe not. Maybe this guy's a scumbag and we'll be happy when Logain kills him.
Maybe maybe this is because you look at the wounds on his face. These might be surface wounds, so maybe these are from the explosion.
Right.
So back to your other theory. Back to your other theory here, which I love, which is this idea that this wall, there's been some explosion because they don't. He's walking down this way, and then you have this look, right? Now I'm looking at this, right? So these guys look like they're chucking these spears at him. Right, and then you see him walking on that same wall. So the spear throw is actually these two guards. But now look at this shot. Look at behind the king here. That's not the same. It doesn't look like the same wall, at least that's kind of pocketed, if you will. But
I think we're seeing from Logain's perspective. I don't think we're seeing because this shot is from the side, whereas this one is more like what Logain is seeing. There's a wall sort of behind them that I don't think we're seeing.
Yeah, so I think that pocketed stuff's to the left and right of the final shot, isn't it?
And to take back what I just said, if that shot is, if the sequence is in order, the guy's a coward. He's running away. He's not facing the fight. So maybe they're going to set this up to be like a scumbag king who needs to be taken down, and Logain's going to save the city, which could then lead to Dragonsworn following him, right?
Well, that was sort of what I was getting at. Is like, what is he doing? Yes, he's like blowing up some people in Gildan. I get that.
Right.
Why? What's the motive? Like, how are we going to get that story, assumably, before episode 3 when we think Perrin and Egwene might see them? How are we going to get all of that?
And that's a good question. So let me ask everybody that. Let me poll our audience here. Okay, so where are we getting this? when do you think Logain or this, these scenes?
It's got to be early. It's got to be like episode 1 or 2.
Yeah, I mean, hot
I'm
take.
curious.
This could literally be episode 1, where Fane is explaining the war in Gildon.
Let's see. Episode 1. Yeah. We'll just throw some. We'll just episode 1, episode 2, episode 3, and episode 4. Everybody. What's your take on this? What's your take on this, James? Do you think this is right out the bat? We're going to get something like this, or do you think this is later on?
I like that theory of Lauren's that it could be as Pattern Finn explaining the war in Gildon. I think that makes sense. God, it's hard to tell, but I think it's got to come before episode 3 because we know that the shot of him being wheeled through the forest, right, is in episode 3. So which is clearly after this. So
I think this would be really powerful to tie this in maybe in like the second episode. But where you're focused really, I mean, they've given us, it seems like we're doing a ton in Emmons Field, right? A ton going on. And so when they're leaving, right, the leave taken, they leave, the idea of showing other things in the world going on could be a good place to put this.
Yeah. So, creatively speaking, I think it's smart to focus just on the main cast of characters in the Two Rivers for the first episode.
Yeah.
And it isn't 100%. Until they leave that you also start to expand the world and show, look, there's a lot more going on here. Yeah. But on the other hand, when Pattern Fane arrives in the Two Rivers and he immediately he starts to, he's a fearmonger and he's like, there's war, there's a false dragon, and everyone's like freaking out.
Yeah, you could do council.
They're like, oh, we got to take him inside. I'm convinced, and I haven't released my Winespring in clip breakdown, but I'm convinced that Pattern Fane is being expertly hidden from some of those shots in the Winespring in clip.
Yeah,
and I'm going to talk
as
about
well. These scenes could very much be parallel to like the prologue, which we don't know if/how it's going to appear yet. But
yeah. That's true.
I want to throw this comment up here real quick because I think this is and then we'll get back to kind of which episode it was. I didn't want to miss this one. Rachel Sedai said in the trailer when they say the Dark One, the immediate shot is of Logain, and I feel like they're setting him up as a faux bad guy or anti-hero. So, yeah, good catch on that the Dark One was paired. I love pairing the kind of the actual text of it with who they put on the screen is something they seem to have been doing. Like the Chosen One they did in the original teaser trailer, I think, or Legend.
I mean, there's so much misdirection in all of these clips.
Oh yeah, and there's been so many comments here.
Did you see Stubble's comment? With
Stubble's the one I saw earlier that I want to throw up, or if I miss it, go ahead and tell what the comment was, which is an interesting idea.
Stubble McShave says, I think it may be flashbacks from the cage. I like that idea too. Like maybe the first time we see Logain is, Matt and Rand are separated from the rest of the group after Shadow Logoth. Matt looks down at Logain. Logain kind of looks up at him. And I think this is another thing in the teaser that they're tricking us with. They're not showing us Rand. And I think they're doing that on purpose. But I really think Logain is looking up at Rand and seeing Rand for the first time in that scene. But then maybe we focus on Logain and see like a flashback of him in Gildon. Sorry, go ahead.
I have to say, I saw on Twitter, I think Ben who did the puzzle the other day, I think it was him.
Yeah.
Said that this is Tarvalon.
Well,
because of the tent in the background, it's the same fabric as like a puppet tent that we've seen in one of the Tarvalon set photos. So
you can see that. Yeah, you can see there's puppets right there.
Like that strongly implies that Matt and probably Rand will be in Tarvalon as well.
So that goes along with the theory that many of us have speculated that will be it'll be replacing Camelin. And that's when he'll be.
Okay. Let's end this poll then. You guys have brought up a ton of theories here. So the winner was episode 2, but episode 1 was right behind this. Everyone, from as far as who is going to, when the scenes will come into play. No one's really believing it's going to be too much later than 3 or 4.
Yeah.
1 or 2 is kind of where everyone's kind of pegged here. I want to ask this. Is Matt? Is Matt in Tarvalon? That's one of the ones you guys just said.
I'm almost wondering if this exact shot of him could be at wherever Basil Gill's is, like on a balcony looking out over.
Ooh, you think this is Basil Gill's inn that Matt's looking down from?
Well, he didn't want to leave the inn, right? Because he was so sick.
Oh, that's a good thing to kind of focus on here. Does he give off a more kind of sickly vibe coming out of this? We don't get much of a shot here.
Yeah, we don't get much.
I do love the eyes. Now, do you believe? I mean, do you believe that that's what they're not just cutting us a scene here? Do you think these are actually paired together where Logain's actually
it could definitely be a trick.
Because this can absolutely this could be a trick. They could be in some other town, and
no, I 100% think that's Matt seeing Logain, and probably Rand like near him, just out of shot.
Yeah, I think Rand is probably right next to Matt there. That was my original assumption, but the idea that this is Tarvalin, I did not think about that. And now I'm kind of mixed because we also see sort of like tents and stuff in some of the scenes near that cave where Logain is in the cage and breaks out, but he's in a cage in this scene. So how does that fit in with the sequence? If they're already at Tarvalin,
well, he gets put back in the cage.
But he broke the cage.
Oh, so this is an interesting point. Okay, so this would take out the theories that he escapes, unless we're going to believe that the other cage stuff happens before they get to Tarvalon. I mean, after they get to Tarvalon, which seems,
it's confusing. Or does he break the cage?
Maybe he doesn't break the cage. Could be the eye of the world?
Well, doesn't he? Whatever it is, he breaks whatever the what do you call it? The shield. He breaks the shield.
Well,
and people
there's two different scenes of him in that cave. There's one where he's in the cage and breaks the shield and knocks Liandrin and Kareen back, probably killing Kareen in that process. But then there's another scene in the same cave where Moraine is there. Kareen is dead or unconscious on the ground, and Stepan like rushes him with the axe. And there's no cage in sight.
Okay. So
what's going on? I don't know.
Let's jump into this one. Is Logain you guys are Logain and Matt in Tarvalon here. Let me end this poll. That one, basically almost 300 of you voted on that one, and I don't know if because some people were just unsure, but almost 70% of you believe that this is Logain and Matt in Tarvalon. So now I want to ask this question, is Rand with Matt in this scene?
Or in the scene up on the balcony or
wherever I'll just say wherever Matt is.
I think so.
So yeah, let's find out what people think about that. For those of you that are catching us on Twitter, Facebook, or Twitch, if you want to watch the rest of this, catch us over on YouTube. You can just look up the Dusty Wheel. We're gonna be live for the next 30 minutes, breaking this clip down, trying to pull your comments in from chat here. So
there's too much to talk about.
Yeah,
come on
it's not this
over.
Scene that you were just on, but we do see some more of the cave scenes in this clip, right?
Including Stepan with no yellow eyes. I know there was a big theory.
And he's really close by as well, so we assume that he hits into that shield that's surrounding Logain. Like he actually makes the land of that jump. But the thing I noticed in this shot, which is actually sort of going back to could this cave be somewhere near the eye, is there are some creepers coming in to the cave from like a hole in the roof towards the back. And they look very similar to the creeper, like the blight trees that we saw in one of those leaked set pics really early on.
Oh, you're talking about that. Okay.
Yeah, in the back, coming out of that hole there in the wall, there's like all those.
Oh, can you imagine?
They look just like the thing that we saw in the blight.
I love James bringing. James is like doubling down on his Eye of the World theory. I love it.
And there's that.
It's the description. By the way, this is description that brought me there.
This is expert Looney Theory stuff. And what I mean by that is, I love you pulling the pillar. Yeah, the pillars, the design of those sets, the attack, all kind of moving it to the eye. Basically, you're kind of supporting, if that's the case, you're supporting that this is something that happens post Tarvalon. Maybe
like in the later end of the season.
Yeah, so this is
we don't know much about.
It's a fun one. I love this. We do get from this, right? We actually get him hitting. He does make it. For anyone that was wondering if that jump he was ever going to make it over there, he does. It looks like we don't really see exactly what happens there after that, But what you do see, I think, here is something that someone brought up, though I want to go back to this. This scene, you have Moraine. Sorry, I apologize, everybody. You should have been like, hey, Matt, we can't see your screen here.
I wanted to talk about this. I'm glad you're bringing this up.
So, yeah, we have Moraine standing next to, and that costume, is that...
that's Alana, for sure.
Or is that Alana? That's Alana's, right? What that looks like. So Alana and Moraine are standing here. Can we tell if this is in the same room?
Yes, because go back one shot before, and you see literally over their shoulders.
You see the blue. Yeah, you see blue.
Okay. It may not be the same room. Right? It may not be the same room.
But I think it's I think this shot is actually reversed because it looks like both their rings are on the left hand, and I'm pretty sure we saw them on the right hand.
Good catch. Show me that again. I got to see that.
So yeah, the ring right there. You can see the ring at the base of Moraine's left hand there. And
oh no, it's been on her left hand in all the other clips too. It's on her left hand in the Wine Spring clip as well.
I thought it was on the right because I'm sure it was like.
So what you don't see. What's interesting is you don't see Alana in this shot right here. If you remember from the teaser trailer, when he makes his jump, we see Lan and we see Moraine. But
remember, in the moment when he busts out of the cage, or we assume busts out of the cage,
Alana is there.
Leandrin and Karine are the ones sitting in chairs shielding.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Totally different people. So another thing I wanted to point out. So there's so much to talk about. One thing that I've noticed is there is no shield around him in the scenes when he's in the cage, like out on the road. It's only in these scenes where you actually see that shield around him.
I don't think that's a shield.
Well, I think that's so that could just be air. Yeah, it could be just like air. But also, some people have speculated that the cage is some sort of terangrial that holds back channeling.
That was one of the theories. I don't think it's been broken yet. But this one, Bearzerger just added this. Check out the shot of Logain in Tarvalon. In quote Tarvalon, he's chained and he wasn't in the scene we had of him before, I think. So let's see if we can't go see that really quickly here. I didn't notice the chain on him. Oh, there it is. Okay.
Yeah, around his neck. It's almost like maybe that's the thing that's holding down his channeling. Like it's a type of item or atom, however you say that.
Yeah. So I want to let's an Adam. Yeah. So let me end this poll. Just about 350 voted. Is Rand with Matt? So basically, what people voted here was most people believe Rand is with Matt here. But not everyone's totally convinced that is happening in Tarvalon, that those scenes might be different. I think that's really good. Sarah Jesus pointed this out too, which I think is great. Like you said, Lauren, the Adam foreshadowing. It has that kind of foreshadowing of caging a channeler. We won't go any further than that. We won't ruin anything for everybody. We'll stop.
I had an early theory as well, that the cage could be Quendiar, like to introduce that early as a concept. It seems to be that it can't be that because he breaks it. But that could just because he's siphoning so much power from the eye. I'm going with this, y'all. I'm going with it.
Well, another thing that people pointed out in the original teaser, which we get that shot again here, when he does break out of the shield or cage or whatever is happening in that shot, Leandrin and Karine get pushed back. Some people said they thought they saw black, almost like a black shadow or additional black power pushing past that white shield.
Right.
And now I'm more convinced that that's the case, because I think the white that's around him is Saidar channeling or shield of some sort. But then he's using, we see that sort of black wisp behind him, and that close up of Steppen in this new teaser, you see that even more defined. It's very clear that there's black power that he's trying to use inside of that shield, and then he breaks out of that. Sorry, I'm so antsy. I can barely sit still. There's so much.
Okay, so I'm going to ask this question. I'm asking this question in the chat for you right now. I'm kind of curious what you think about this. Is the cage and or the chain a terangrial that shields or in some fashion prevents his channeling? So I want to hear what people have to say about that. We just talked about this piece.
I'm not even sure how I feel about that.
And I agree with this comment from Pavara in chat. Look, I don't think we can kind of assume too much here. Pavara just wrote that it could also be based on point of view, where like Matt can't see the weaves, but in the cave it's all channelers. I'm hoping for that nuance. I'm hoping for that nuance in the show where you sometimes see it, sometimes you don't. Like Rafe kind of like cheekily said something like, I don't know, like he said something about like, if you can see it, you can see it. Or I don't know. He said something to that effect. If someone wants to go find the quote and actually give me a real quote from Rafe, feel free. But basically he was talking about this question of, will everyone be able to see channeling or not? Will it work like in the books? I like that comment from Pavara is great.
I love that. That's a really good point. Thank you. You're writing my script for me, everybody. Thank you.
I considered that one, so yeah, that makes sense.
And this is a good point. I think so. I think this Ilias Lokim said they have to introduce them slowly for later. Or sorry, that wasn't that comment. It was also said, I think it'd be really confusing if it is for new viewers. In other words, if these things are terangrial, the chains are, is that going to be hard to explain? I mean, I guess they could always just say, somebody could be like, how is he, how is he being held here?
That's what sort of originally gave me the Quendiar theory, is because that's something you sort of have to introduce by the time we get that first seal breaking. Ideally, you want it to be introduced before that, right?
Yeah, and this is a good point. Paul, thank you very much. This is a great point. Paul just said, the chain is only to show people that he has been captured in order to make people see that Aes Sedai have control of him. Yeah. Great. You don't want to bring him into the city and, make it feel like they don't have him under control. So, excellent.
That idea really heavily foreshadows the Edam as well. The idea of having a chain around his neck means you control his power.
Oh, this is interesting. So, when we come back to this Terangriel question, people in chat are not as enchanted with this.
I even voted no. I mean, I've heard it.
No is the answer, but it's almost half and half. So there is still kind of some love, somewhat, for this idea. I think Stubble had a question here. I think I passed it earlier. Thanks for the tip, Stubble. Stubble said, I think there may be flashbacks from the cage.
Yeah.
So that's possible too. Like, we get him being brought to Tar-Valon, but we're seeing kind of flashbacks. I think that's a really good theory.
I think that comment was referring to the attack on the King of Gildan too.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
I think perhaps if they do go with the flashback route, then they could introduce him in quite a sympathetic light. If we first come across him when Perrin and Egwene just see him caged on their travels, maybe, then that could, like, they'd be like, oh, who's this guy? Why have they got him in a cage and everything? There's like 10 people. What has he done that's so bad? And as a viewer, we're like, yeah, what has he done that's so bad? And then they like flashbacks all him blowing shit up in Gildan.
Right. I also like what you mentioned before too. It could almost be used as some sort of prologue where you're seeing this amazingly powerful guy busting into this palace, killing a king, but you're not really sure what that's about. And then we go to the Two Rivers. I don't know. It would be weird to start with Logain, but it's possible.
Stormcrown just said this in chat. Said, "Why aren't we just saying he's shielded?" Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't have to be. Obviously, if he's not channeling here, he's being shielded, right? So let me throw this up here. Hybrid Havrix just said, "I think the shield just goes beneath the skin. Normally allows them to avoid having to CGI it all the time." Yeah, you could say that the way they showed the shielding was him expanding the shield out, maybe, pushing against the shield, and so you wouldn't normally see a shield.
The only reason why I'm not sure about that, there's a shot in this new teaser where you see a close-up of Logain in the cage over the shoulder of Alana and Moraine, and you actually see the shield kind of like growing and bubbling out over him, as if they're building the shield here. Do you see this?
Yeah, so that's a good point. Yeah. But you probably don't first see it until he pushes it out a little bit. You know what I mean? It's like,
but I don't think he's the one pushing it out. Well, again, if the sequence of these shots is different, it shows them almost like building the shield.
Again, maybe them building it. Okay,
we're assuming that that's a shield. Like, there's nothing to say that that's a shield pulsing out from it.
It could just be air.
A weave of air. That could be a protective cocoon. It could be some, just some other sort of spirit.
The only reason why people think of this as a shield is because this is that scene,
right?
Well, it's the scene that we got, right? This is where you see it kind of coming out from him, and you can see that kind of like it seems like, I mean, that's how I interpret it. He's pushed against the shield till he's broken it, and that's what causes the death here of Kareen. Right. So that's why I think that's why a lot of fans keep on. And you see this kind of,
but we don't really see. We don't experience in the books, right? We don't see any like backlash when people break through shields, do we? We don't see explosions or anything.
Spoilers.
Yeah, maybe we'll spoil.
Yeah, we kind of do. Spoilers. We kind of do. I mean,
wait, how far do you want to spoil it? Do you want to bring up something?
Well, this is Lord of Chaos.
Okay, this is if you're still here and you're like, don't want this to be spoiled, there might be some Lord of Chaos spoilers from here on out if you have to walk away.
There's no explosion of air, is there?
No,
so go ahead.
So there's not necessarily an explosion of air. You're right, but Logain, you'll see in that scene, Logain is pushing out air, probably earth as well. You see dust forming. He's probably breaking the cage. But we do know a couple things. Robert Jordan has said, and it's in the books, that when weaves get cut off, like if someone is channeling a weave and someone else snaps that weave, there's a physical snapback. Like they get pushed back to some degree.
Oh, I thought that was only with like also, the unraveling and the unpicking things. I thought
that also happens there. But I'm talking about like when a weave gets slashed, like in that fight between Nynaeve and Mogideon in The Shadow Rising. There's like a pushback, but on top of that, in Lord of Chaos, some people literally get stilled on the spot when Rand breaks out of a shield. So I would imagine there'd be a
he
physical...
aims at them and knocks them over the head to still them.
No, I think he does.
I think he literally shields a couple of them without realizing that he's doing it.
It's so long since I've read Lords of Chaos.
You mean stills?
Did I say shield? Yeah, stills. He stills.
By the way, I like this comment from Brando. He said, or he could be gentled in Tarvalon and then paraded in front of the entire city to show an example for people.
Oh,
so
yeah,
that could happen too. It could be post-gentling. That's an interesting concept.
Can we get that shot of like him looking up again? I just want to see what the look in his eyes is like. Does it look like a man who's been gentled?
Oh, that's
he still has that defiant sort of look to him, which I would assume would go away.
He's looking up at.
He looks kind of scared.
Is leaning. Yeah,
he does look more defeated.
He's looking up, but he does look. Well, let's go look at because we get the scene from him. There's his look in the.
That's defiant, definitely.
Okay, we got to ask that question to everybody here. I want to know what everyone's thoughts are. Here's your defiant look from the. Do you think that this is still the defiant Logain here? Let me ask everybody, and then we'll get to this next question from a fan.
To me, that looks like a man who's never had to be scared before, but he's
post-gentling.
That's really interesting. Like they're just parading him around, like, look what we did.
Interesting question. This is my favorite poll today. Please do answer this one. I'm really curious how you all are thinking about this.
I still don't know whether or not I think it is, but I'm going to say yes because it's fun. Someone asked a question in the chat that I wanted to address.
Yeah, so go ahead.
At the Dusty Wheel, any thoughts on maybe the reason the two Aes Sedai are using the same hand gestures for channeling? Could they be linked? Yeah, I like that idea. Sure.
Oh, got you. So you're saying this one right here, linked? Is that what they're talking about?
Yeah, that they could be linked here. Also, notice the flows of one power are sort of shields are spirit. And it sure looks like the one power is coming out of their bodies, which is what spirit would do, right? So
yeah, but I wonder when the timing is on this, right? Because we have what looks like a red sister. I can't remember if we know for sure who that is, with Kareen in that room.
Leander,
then we have and then we have Moiraine and Alana right here. Do you think this is? And do you think Alana comes in?
Well, they'd be coming from the same place, right? Because
you think the teaser? Oh, so it could be this, right? That Moiraine. Well, no, because this is already established of some type of protection, boundary, shield, whatever. And that's already happening, and this looks like it's about to happen here. So
are we okay to talk about
like we said,
leaked
that
scripts?
Could be Logain's channeling around him.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Possible. Sorry, I was going to say, are we okay to talk about leaked, not scripts? I don't have any leaked scripts, but leaked audition, audition stuff that's come out.
So if you guys don't know this, Watt series, if this is one of the ones they found some basically audition tapes, if you will, on Vimeo. Yeah. And if you go to wattseries.com, we'll make sure the link is in the description. You can go find some of the videos are gone, but you can find some of the transcripts of those. But which one did you want to bring up, Lauren?
Well, I don't remember the specifics, but in my in one of my teaser breakdown videos, I talk about the order of events, and I bring up some of the leaked audition scripts to kind of. Anyway, they talk about there's Aes Sedai talking to each other, and they talk about taking shifts, shielding Logain. And it's like, Hey, Moiraine, you missed your shift. Why are you late? And Leandrin's kind of angry. There's like some stuff like that goes on.
Gotcha. So that's what you're thinking that might be then what we're seeing here. Is that what you're bringing that up? Because we're talking about this piece.
My opinion is this has to be after Moiraine was injured and healed, right? Because there's a point in one of those leaked scripts where they say to Moiraine, or somebody says to one of the Aes Sedai, like, "Oh, are you sure you can handle this? You're still weak." And Moiraine says something like, "Thanks for healing me." I'm totally butchering it. I have it in my video. I can't remember the exact wording, but it says something like, "Thanks for healing me." She's talking to Kareen in that case, most likely. I need to do my part. So she jumps in to help. The thing is, if this is Alana, which I'm pretty sure it is in the background in this shot, that doesn't really fit with the sequence we see later, because Alana, at least in my opinion, is outside at this point.
Yeah.
Fighting the Dragonsworn who are coming to free Logain. Now, maybe these are totally different moments. Like maybe Logain escapes from the cage way after that Dragonsworn attack and Alana is there. But Alana is nowhere to be seen in a lot of the clips that we've seen before of
So
Logain
yeah,
breaking out.
but it's so interesting that you're throwing this, and people brought this up. Both of them, like if they were linked, then they wouldn't both be doing the same thing. But look at you're bringing this up, and I just noticed this. Alana's holding this, right? But you see Moraine
starting to form it.
It's like
she's
form
taking
it,
it up. Right.
You see the power coming down to it. Like, I mean, as in you see like the connection point. Like maybe it's coming from Alana. Is that what you think? Like, as in they're like the transfer of it.
Right. Like maybe they're transferring the shield, and then Alana goes outside to.
Yeah, interesting theory. Your theory on this from that script. By the way, okay, let's jump back here, everybody. Over 300 of you voted for this one too. Is this a shot that shot that we had of Logain? Is this a shot post gentling? And the answer was from everybody in chat. 60% say no. So denying your theory, even though you were one of the yeses there. Were you a yes on this one, James?
People are not a fan of my theories tonight, which is fantastic because I'm just throwing all sorts of spicy stuff out there.
we have to ask this theory. Is this we have to ask about Basil Gill? You know.
Oh yeah.
I think that is a must because I loved that. I like you, James. You were like you and Lauren have like killing the theories things today. It's awesome. Okay, so here we go. Is this a shot? Is Matt and staying at what is it? Was it or we'll just say Basil Gill's?
I doubt it'd be called the Queen's Blessing if it was in Tavalon, but
it could
maybe the Amerlin's Blessing.
The Amerlin's Blessing, yeah.
We'll do that. The Amerlin's Blessing. That's a joke, everybody. That's not part of the question. Is Matt staying at Basil Gill's Inn? Here we go. I'm kind of curious about this one, everybody. That's a fun theory you threw out there. Okay, so anything kind of coming into the end of this, as we look at this, we get kind of that repeat shot. I don't know if we see anything different about this moment. It doesn't seem like it. We might get a little bit more of the person in red here on the side.
That's Leandrin.
That looks like Leandrin, right?
Well,
like,
so there's a theory that
I got that much.
There's a theory that I definitely subscribe to, which is this is also based on some of the Leandrin leaked audition scripts. Leandrin is obviously making a little bit of trouble. She's it's possible that she is talking to Logain sort of on the side, and that she might be helping him escape. That she's intentionally weakening the shield to allow him to kill Kareen.
Oh my gosh! I've never. That's really. Oh yeah, that's a very, very, very fun theory.
And
wow.
Spoilers for later books here.
Hold on. Which books are we spoiling? Let's tell people.
I think maybe like up to 7 or 8.
Okay, 7 or 8. If you're still here, if you got to Lord of Chaos, but you're at 7 or 8 on this one, please walk away now or mute us. Go ahead. What was your theory here? We got to cover the Leandrin theory. We got to go back to that here. But yeah, go ahead, James.
It fits really in line with when Logain is in Saladar, they begin telling people that the Reds helped him to like cause loads of chaos.
Oh wow!
And told him to do stuff, right?
I love those too. That's good. Yeah.
And again, this is a spoiler, but I think it's early books. Leandrin, of course, as we know, is Black Aja, and one of their plans was to free a false dragon to cause trouble and chaos.
Sure. Right? What's funny, Brother Buddha's bringing up like that I hadn't heard. I don't think I'd heard it as in context of the teaser trailer that had come out, that Leandrin had kind of led that to happen. It seems like a really dangerous thing. And it's not that I don't agree with the theory, but I mean, she was almost killed too here, right? I mean, it's not like
that's my point.
Like it's an interesting kind of interesting thought.
She may have actually conferred with Logain ahead of time. Like, look, I'm
going
to weaken the shield.
So you think this was like a collaboration? Okay.
Another spoiler for New Spring. Kareen is killed by the Black Aja. Right?
Oh, sure. Oh, that's a good point. So yeah, if they tie those things. By the way, is Matt staying at Basil Gill's Inn? 72% of you believe that's the case. I got to ask how many of you. So here it is. We got to tie this up. We got to wrap this up. This is lunchtime at the Dusty Wheel. We got to get back to work. I got to get back to work. Y'all do. So let's ask this question: was Kareen's death
planned?
Planned, I guess. Planned by Leandrin.
Murder.
And
murder or manslaughter?
I mean, I could see Leandrin making some sort of promise to Logain, like, look, I'll help weaken the shield. I'll help you escape. I could also see her turning against that plan.
I
Maybe
love the
more
plan.
rain.
I love it.
Just the
steps in.
fact that if she knew it was coming, she'd be prepared enough to protect herself from that blast, whereas Karine wouldn't, because she had no idea that Leandrin had just let the shield go.
Okay, while we get the answer on this one, I'm going to play this for everybody again. If you're just joining us, we're about to end, but the Wheel of Time and Amazon Prime dropped this on us today, a little teaser trailer about Logain.
There have been false dragons before. His strength is more than anything I've ever seen.
What I love is that they're really buying into these
There
two
have been
voices.
false dragons before.
Yeah, we haven't even talked about the audio.
We haven't talked about the audio, and we haven't talked about Logain's signature.
His strength is more than anything I've ever seen.
Oh, and the dragons there I can see on his collar.
Yeah, he's got dragons on his collar. He's got that signet ring, which I added some contrast. It looks like a star with an eye in the middle of it, which
Yeah, that's right,
is
yeah,
another
that's right,
hint at, more than meets the eye of the world. Like, I do think
What's your
this
guess
theory
on?
could
Sorry,
be
go ahead.
real.
What's your guess on that? What was your guess on the voice?
Could that be Priyanka's voice, Logain, or Alana's voice, maybe?
Yeah,
I don't know.
it did. That's what it sounded like to me, but I wasn't sure what you all thought.
No idea.
Okay. Here's the signet ring there. What are you thinking this is?
Now there's a frame just before this. I don't know if you can get it here, because this is the problem. There's literally one frame in the animation before they blur it. They intentionally put some sort of blur over his ring, I noticed. But there's one frame where you can see it. I sent you in Discord like a high contrast version of that.
Oh, I might not have gotten that one over to myself here.
Well, that's okay.
If I can find it.
I put it on.
Oh, there it
Twitter,
is.
too.
I did. Yep, I got it. Here we go. So this is the one you're talking about.
I find it interesting that, first of all, they oh wow, you're zoomed in so far. I actually can't see the eye now. But in the version when it's a little smaller, to me it looks like a 5-pointed star with an eye in the center.
Yeah. I do see that now. Yeah.
Are you just trying to hold my eye of the world theory, Lauren?
I'm on board, man. I'm totally on board with that theory. I love the idea of Logain going for the eye, getting there. They face him there only to find dun dun dun. It's for Rand, not him. I think that.
Yeah,
would be
I think
really
that gives
great
a lot more
climax.
context for why they would go there.
Oh yeah, I'm all for it. I mean, look, they're already changing so much. Let's just embrace more change. I love it.
Okay, so the Eye of the World theory is going to live. James is never going to let to hear the end of it. About 300 of you voted on this poll, everybody. And wow, just about 84% of you thought that this was something planned by Leandrin. I put Leandrian, sorry. That's what happens live. It's whatever. But yes, and we think that I saw some call outs that that's definitely Priyanka in chat. So Priyanka's voice, I love how they're kind of doing two voices here in each, so far at least, where they're doing kind of Moraine's doing the intro, but then there's some other comment from the show. It's been a lot of fun to kind of listen to these. Hopefully go back, make sure that you are watching and sharing that clip. Let's continue to make this stuff trend out there. This is going to be the fun trip all the way to the premiere on November 19th. So I love it. I love it. Thank you all for being here for another lunchtime at the Dusty Wheel. Make sure you go check out Lauren, Unraveling the Pattern. He dropped a video this morning all about, I think it was the Wine Spring Inn clip. Is that the one you broke down?
No, I haven't even been able to get to that one.
I'm sorry.
It's a Shadow Spawn thing.
The Shadow Spawn clip. Okay, so make sure you check that out. And make sure to check out James' Wheel Up Time. James has these amazing, how don't you call them? It's like, what would you call what you do, James?
Animated rap videos as Wheel of Time characters, mainly.
There it
Anyway,
is,
I'm also working on a board game at the minute. There's a video about that on my channel as well.
Awesome.
So,
So Wheel Up, we look up Wheel Up Time on YouTube. I'll make sure we get that link. I don't think his link is in the description of the video yet. I'll make sure we get that there. But please go check out both these channels. They both put a lot of work and passion into their fandom, just like you all have here by showing up at our live stream. Appreciate the support. Appreciate everyone that asked questions. Sorry I couldn't get everyone's comments or questions into the show, but we'll keep trying. And until next time, everybody, who knows when they're going to drop another thing. This is why we're not trying to
Tomorrow?
plan stuff out, honestly. We're not planning every single episode out moving forward. We're going to have some, but just not every single time we get together. Expect more lunchtime here at the Dusty Wheel as we move forward.
One thing I got to say before we go out.
Is it about the Eye of the
something
World
we
again?
mentioned. No, it's not. It's not. It's not.
Okay, go ahead.
It looks like we might be getting one of these every day, which means, guys, we're going to get one for Loyal.
I hope so.
Oh,
I think this is a countdown
I just
to
want to leave you with
the
that.
new trailer that's going to be coming out. I think we're going to, I don't know about
Yeah,
Saturday
for
and
sure,
Sunday.
for sure.
They might skip Saturday, Sunday, but I think we're getting every day something leading up to the trailer.
Okay. So that is very possible. That may happen. We'll see. We'll see, everybody, if we end up getting one every day. Be on the lookout for more announcements coming out from us and from content creators as we move forward. This is going to be a lot of fun, everybody, on the march to the release. Thanks, everybody, for being here at the Dusty Wheel. And as we sit out here, good afternoon and smash to black.
Welcome to the Dusty Wheel.
Hey, welcome back to the Dusty Wheel.
You went right to kill it. Look at you. You're already. You're just done. I mean, this is like this is one
really
of the
well.
biggest scenes.
And now I'm like, great, my turn.
And if you don't like that, you want to say, well, Robert Jordan could have made the two rivers all white. He could have, but he didn't. So,
Just complimented me on my dress, and as you can clearly see, I'm
Sad.
not
I see
I
the
like
Comey
that.
as something along the lines of a Shadow Haran analog.
it does make sense why it outlasted the breaking.
Yeah.
See, this is why I have Therese in the show, because she's going to correct everything that
Hey everybody, welcome to the Dusty Wheel Show. What? Meme Off Challenge. Yay!
Pair of like baby face mounted on like a huge body. So like all
This
of
is
a
not
sudden,
just
it's like,
a
wow.
traditional fantasy, right? There are sci-fi elements. And just a moment ago, Rafe tweeted something. So let me get my guests in here with me, and
probably I would say put in 70-80% of the work. I got to be over the shoulder and be like, no,